Hello Gunners, welcome to another video, and today we have pretty much rival fans saying that Max Dowman could genuinely be a player that can rival Lamine Yamal. We're also going to be looking into, Martin Odegaard. Arsenal potentially have found their replacement for him. A lot of talk about him recently, of course. And we'll also be getting into Merino sending a message, pretty much a threat to PSG ahead of the second leg in Paris. But before I begin, if you are new here, please hit the subscribe and the like as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. But let us start here. So a question was posed on Twitter. It was, who's Yamal's rival? I feel like that every generational player has a linear rival. They battle for years, but it feels like there's not going to be a player even close to him in 10 years' time. It's actually scary. Then this person puts, he's on his way, don't you worry. This tweet got 8,000 likes, over 500,000 views, and even rival fans in the comments were saying, Max Dowman, he's something different. He can be the player to rival Lamine Yamal. And obviously, I don't want to put any pressure on Max Dowman. I feel as though him being so young, I think he's only still 15 years old. To put that pressure on him, he's 2 years younger than Lamine Yamal at 17, and we're seeing the stuff he's doing, and he's still having to be nurtured a little bit. It's incredible, but Max Dowman, he deserves it. I mean, it's the under-18s, but the consistency this guy has, you're looking at this, there's no way this doesn't translate. Absolutely no way whatsoever. This kid has a special ability. Against Spurs, a goal and assist. Against Reading, 4 goals. Against Norwich, 2 goals. Against Leicester, he's getting 3 goals and assists. Fulham, a goal. Every game he has an impact, whether it is with a goal or an assist, or whether it's with his pure presence. He walks around the pitch with an arrogance, and he deserves to do it. I don't think it'll be very long until we see him do a first-team debut, and I want you guys to sort of look at this performance here against Reading, where he scored the 4 goals. Shout out to N5 Local for the clip. Just look how he's gliding through. Lamine Yamal does this sort of thing. He's so quick, deceptively quick, glides away, and then the power and composure to finish it off. That's alien-like. It really is. Declan Rice has talked about how it translates into the men's game. You can see it translating into the men's game. And just seeing this, the ball striking, the finesse on his shots. This guy he lacks any sort of fear. And that is really scary for a player to sort of lack fear. Because as a youngster, especially Max Dowman, he's only 15, you're going to lack fear. Surely you're going to lack fear. But this guy has no fear whatsoever. And I have to just put out my hat towards him and be like, you know what, Max Dowman? You just keep on going levels and levels and levels up. And people are at this point now where they expect it from him. On Twitter, the Arsenal Academy game is on. I go on there and I see Max Dowman in the starting lineup. I'm like, I expect him to make an impact in this game. And for someone so young to have that, you have to just give your kudos to him. But anyway, let's go on to the player who potentially might be replacing Martin Odegaard. And a source from Morocco, quite close to the Moroccan player, says Arsenal have entered discussions with Leicester City for Bilal El Khanous and have proposed 30 million for the Moroccan after an impressive season. Arteta has approved the player and he is in Arsenal's sights. This is pretty big news because I've known for quite a while that Bilal El Khanous is a player Arsenal really, really like. Hando Verzal, even on Twitter, a well-renowned source, said that Bilal is a player that Arsenal really, really like, and he would cost around 30 million. I think that's a brilliant deal. He's only 20 years old. He's probably the one player in the Leicester side where you can look at them and be like, you make an impact for them. You look so, so good. You look like you have a bit of quality about you. And to say that about a side who have racked the points Leicester have and had such poor performances that Leicester have, is a massive, massive compliment to him, and he's still young, he can still develop. I feel like Arsenal is the right place for him. I certainly think it is. And Martin Odegaard, he has qualities that Martin doesn't have in terms of he's a ball carrier, he's a ball striker, he's comfortable in those tight spaces, he can manipulate the ball, his final pass is really, really good as well. He's the sort of player that you buy young now. He can do it in the Premier League. He has those fundamentals which are very, very much of a top player. And when you look at a form like this, I don't like ratings, but, top performances in here. He was often let down by Leicester. I was lucky enough to go to a Leicester game when they played West Ham. He got the assist for Jamie Vardy's goal. He just oozes class. There's certain players whereby maybe, you may not think he looks good on TV, but in real life, when you're watching him, the pockets of spaces he picks up, the way he drives the ball, is impressive. It really, really is. At just 20 years old, I always get shocked he's that young, because it's incredible that he can have an impact on a team such as Leicester. And I feel as though Martin Odegaard, with the way he's playing, I know he can probably get back to his best. We probably need another option in there. And Bilal certainly can play in the 8. He can play off the left wing, can play off the right in very emergency circumstances. So I really, really do back this sort of signing and back this sort of deal. And who wouldn't want a player who can score against Tottenham Hotspur, the winning goal against Tottenham Hotspur? It just shows he has the mentality. He absolutely wants to win. He absolutely wants to score. And if you asking me, for 30 million, it's an absolute bargain. Xavi Simons comes under this category of players that we need like this. Those youngish players who can come into the side and play in multiple positions, but can be that number 8 instead of Martin Odegaard, because I feel like Martin does need to be pushed and have somebody who can come in and sort of play instead of him, because he's slowing down. But that's not me saying I don't completely believe in Martin Odegaard. But let us get on to Mikel Merino and just have a listen to what he said after the game. It fills me with so much confidence.
Know that Paris is a tough place to go, but still we have proved always that we can compete against anybody and with all due respect to anybody. But I think we're going to win the second leg.
I love that. And a lot of Arsenal fans have been in this sort of position where they're conceding the tie already. Really? That's not what we're about. We've seen so many games under Mikel Arteta, and I feel like he, at the very least, deserves us to have faith in the squad. Most certainly. He has earned it, I feel. Yes, he hasn't won the big trophies. Yes, we may have not won the league in the last 3 seasons or whatever, and all your narratives, but he deserves a 1-goal deficit. It's not like we're 5-0, 6-0, 7-0 down here. We're only 1-0 down. We've gone to far harder places. We've gone to the Bernabeu and scored twice and won the game. What's stopping us from doing the same in Paris? We created enough opportunities to show that we're a team that's dangerous. PSG, Luis Enrique came out the game saying, you know what? Arsenal, they're a top side, They gave us a lot of issues. Players like Desiree Doué, did they have any impact on the game at all, really? No. Kvaratskhelia after the 25 minutes, a shadow, really. Dembele picking up the ball in the pockets was a problem for most of the game, but again, he tired out. Apparently, he's injured. I obviously don't want to see injuries for players, but if he is out, it gives us another opportunity, because he really, really did pick up nice spaces. You're just thinking about these things, I feel like we were so emotional after the game and so disappointed, and we were so heightened and expecting that we'd win it, that ultimately we became rational in our analysis. But if you're asking me, I have full faith we can go to Paris Saint-Germain and the Parc des Princes and get a result. But obviously, thoughts and focus all on to Saturday's game against Bournemouth. And who knows, we need to just qualify Champions League football, get that done, and then Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. Let's get it.